Hi, everybody. Welcome back to XChange, the podcast for faculty by faculty. It's been a long, challenging few months here in Toronto and at George Brown College, but we have persevered and we're raring to go for another academic year. I'm Michael Avis, a faculty facilitator at the Teaching and Learning Exchange we call the TLX, and I'm joined here as usual by my colleague, Nicki Monahan. How's it going, Nicki?
Hey, Mike, it's great to be with you again. I'm Nicki Monahan, faculty facilitator and coach with the TLX. Yes, it was a different kind of summer for most of us, but one of the things that I love about being an educator is that we get to celebrate New Year's at least twice a year. For me, September always brings that fresh start feeling. So in this episode of Exchange, we're going to discuss what's new with the TLX and some Happy New Year strategies for creating positive online learning communities.
So hold tight, everybody. So welcome back. There are lots of new things going on at the TLX that we want to update you on before we get started with talking about our Happy New Year's wishes. One thing is, Nicki, we have expanded.
Indeed.
As the pandemic has gone on, we've realized how important it is for us to have lots of able people here. We have added some new TLX champions and associates to the team, who hopefully we'll be introducing throughout our new season of Exchange, and we'll be introducing them in the next couple months. They can come and talk to you on this pod. But Nicki, you're working specifically with champions and associates just to sort of get them oriented to how we do things at the TLX. Mm-hmm. Can you say a little bit about their roles?
Happy to, Mike. So, sure. In our efforts to ensure that all faculty have the support that they need, the TLX has expanded to TLX 2.0. So in June, our first new associates joined the core team. And this summer, Valerie Scoville and Adisha Hack designed the incredible Course Builder Summer Institute.
Incredible is right.
It was amazing. They did a great job. And hundreds of faculty participated in building or reworking online courses, implementing fundamental principles of backwards design. So we're really happy to bring Val Scoville and Adisha Hack and all their incredible expertise into the team.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then in August, 2 new associates came on board, and they're currently expanding the reach of the TLX. Melissa Tullis comes from the Child and Youth Care Program, and she's got an interest and expertise in teaching with compassion, community partnerships, an equity and anti-racist education focus, and we're really delighted to have her with us. And then Joanna Friend from Early Childhood Education brings her unique perspectives on disability, accessibility, accommodation, and universal design for learning, and she's going to join with many, many other learning consultants, Ravinder Brar's UDL, Universal Design for Learning pilot project.
You know, Nicki, one of the things I sort of jump in there, but one of the things I really appreciate about all these new associates and champions is, just as you mentioned, all the wide-ranging expertise they bring, the new vision that they bring, all of those things, I think it's just going to make our team so much stronger.
Absolutely, and there's lots of work to do, so we're really delighted that we have this increased capacity. So in addition to the associates who spent a fair bit of their Swift time with us, we also have some new champions, and the champions are kind of embedded in their divisions, and they're ready to support the work of the TLX and meet the learning needs of their respective faculty members. So we've got 10 of them, and when I work with them, I always say it's like coaching an all-star team. We couldn't ask for a better group. So Jeffrey Refo and William Woolrich come from Community Services, and they're already doing some amazing work with their teams. Carolyn Deeth and Alicia Marshall have joined us from the Health Sciences area. We've got a threesome of Lindsay Wilson, Margaret Talpalaru, and Kate Taylor, and they're our CPLS colleagues. Alma Kaznecki, math teacher extraordinaire, is working with faculty from the Center for Construction and Engineering Technology. And then finally, last but not least, Jason Innes and Paul Arujo join us from the Center for Hospitality and Culinary Arts. And they are already all busy supporting colleagues in their divisions. And they're basically our ears to the ground to ensure that their faculty know what the TLX is doing, but also that we at the TLX are aware of the learning needs of faculty from across the entire college.
Yeah, that's great. So basically what the champions are going to be doing is sort of, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but they're going to be kind of listening to what the needs are of those specific divisions and then communicating with us, and we're seeing how we can sort of help support that in a bigger way. Is that about right?
Yeah, that's the one side of it. And the other side of it is that they were working directly to provide peer support to faculty in their areas, and also let faculty in their areas know what's available through the TLX, whether it's workshops, webinars, consultation, coaching.
Right.
So it's kind of a two-way communication system that we've got going.
Yeah, an all-star team indeed. That's great. So there's been a few other things that have been happening. As you mentioned, the Summer Institute Course Builder, we had over 400, I believe, participants in that. And I just think that was such, and I did a couple sections myself, and it was such a great experience to have 30, 40, my last one, I even had 70 faculty in there thinking about their teaching, thinking about how they're going to engage their students. It was a really worthwhile project, and thanks again to Adisha and Val for getting that going. ELTI and the Blackboard people and all of those folks who've been working really hard, they've had an unprecedented number of workshops, office hours, and tickets that they've been working on.
And they continue to be really busy. We hear about them working day and night and on weekends to respond to those Blackboard faculty support tickets. So, yeah, our faculty couldn't survive without them, that's for sure.
Shout out to their hard work, no doubt about it. And we've also got Ian Wigglesworth. So he's the Associate Vice President Academic, and he's sort of taken the lead in the TLX right now, and he's really helped to lead the growth and expansion of the TLX. So we want to thank him and make sure that people are aware that sort of Ian is really helping push this forward. So with all this
we could call Ian the champion of champions.
Absolutely.
So he helps us make this happen for sure.
So with all this hard work, we can't forget what we're here for. And after all what we've talked about this summer, let's bring it back to basics here, Nicki. And that's working with faculty on how to connect with their learners and create the best learning environment possible. We have such a challenge right now because of where we are and the most people teaching online. It's really a big challenge to sort of create that community that we would normally have in just walking into a classroom and saying hi to people. It's not quite that easy anymore. So we've come up with a few things that faculty might want to consider within your first couple weeks of your online teaching about how you can sort of create that community. So the strategies that we will propose to ensure that you're creating a positive environment for online learning come directly from feedback. So we asked students, and I think there were a few surveys done by Strategy and Innovation over the year, to ask them about their online learning experiences in the spring and to say what it is that they really value and what do they want.
Yeah, feedback from our students is absolutely vital for keeping us on track about what they need to be successful. So first things first, we're going to assume by now that you've already warmly welcomed your students to a new semester. But let's not forget it's never too late to welcome newcomers, and students are facing unprecedented challenges. So there might be some students who are just logging on to their Blackboard shelves for the first time, or maybe they missed their first Collaborate session. So let's not forget to welcome people as they arrive.
Yeah, indeed. And we're at the end of week one. We're recording this on the Friday at the end of the first week. But our goal to create that environment is never ending. It doesn't happen only in week one and then stop in week two. It's something that we want to sort of continue to do throughout your entire term, the 14 weeks. So in addition to appreciating these, the first positive connections with faculty, one of the things that learners have told us about is clear communication and connection with faculty were really important to their success. And there's a few ways that we can do that. One of them is creating a sense of community with people reaching out and staying connected. It's really difficult at times to stay connected through a computer, and a lot of people are actually using their phones as well to do this. And how do we create that sort of connection? one of the things is easy networking. So we want to create a network so that we're constantly in contact with them, whether it's through email, through Teams, through chat, through messages, through Blackboard. But we probably have to spend a little bit more time thinking about how we connect with them and stay connected in the online environment. One of the ways is also creating a community of learners. So how do we engage the students to talk to each other and not just direct everything to us, but create communities where students can work together, can communicate together, can troubleshoot together, think critically together. So that all comes with creating this community and the connection. And another thing is what we're doing is modeling for students what they're going to be doing when they're in their careers. So I'm not sure where we're going to go as far as online learning, but certainly connecting and meeting people digitally and doing meetings digitally is something that's going to happen. So by creating this environment, we're helping them learn for their future careers.
Absolutely, Mike, and that community can happen asynchronously, synchronously. So we know students appreciate when they have a chance to participate in discussion boards or group work or creative problem solving or things where they get to know their peers, and that reduces that sense of isolation. We've also heard from our students that they really appreciate what they would call a positive and caring environment. And they define that as really responsible faculty who are flexible and communicative. So now more than ever, providing multiple ways of students to be able to demonstrate that they're achieving outcomes, flexibility in terms of assignments, and flexibility in terms of deadlines and due dates is probably more important than ever.
Right.
Students also tell us that they notice when faculty tell them directly that they care about their success. We want to be really transparent. We're here to help you be successful, and that's a message that we can't say often enough. And finally, because these are such unusual and, we've heard this word many times, unprecedented times, but our students do really want to know that we understand that they're dealing with particular challenges, and some of those challenges are, economic uncertainties, maybe internet difficulties, difficulties accessing devices. We know students have told us they're dealing with violence in their homes and parenting and caring for people who are not well. So I think that caring is acknowledging and empathizing with our students that we know these are hard times and we're with you and we want you to be successful.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to imagine that we're actually in their homes when we're doing our classes, right? Like normally we would have them in our space, but now we're in their space. So you're right, to really be flexible and positive about that is really important.
And respectful of privacy.
Of course,
and so, maybe inviting people, if they choose to be on camera, but also recognizing that some of our students are in situations that don't create ideal learning environments. So being really caring about what's happening for our students is important. Yeah,
and another thing they say that they really want to be successful is the relevance and clarity. Is everything needs to be clear, relevant, punctual. I think because of, again, where we are, their time is really, really precious right now. A lot of them are working odd hours. As you said, they're at home, so they might not have a lot of time. Maybe they're sharing their computer with siblings, and they only have a certain amount of time. That means that time is really, really important to them. So being clear on the expectations of the course, the expectations of assignments is really important to them. Due dates and schedules need to be really specific and relevant. So one of the ways we can do that is use the calendar option in Blackboard, where everything is laid out from the very beginning. And if you're going into week 2, getting those assignments up and saying this is the exact date that it's due so that they can start to schedule all their work. I think for them that they've said that that's actually really important as well.
Yeah, we know for all of us, time management is a critical skill these days.
Yeah. So, those were 3 things that we at the TLX sort of came up with as simple tools, not so simple, but key tools and key ideas on how to sort of create and start to create that community. You're going to find in the link below, if you're listening on YouTube or if you through a podcast, in the description, you're going to find a link to a tip sheet created by Ian Crane, one of our instructional designers, on how to create the welcome environment for learning, and it gives some tools and some practices that you can do to sort of create what we talked about, the relevance and the clarity, the positive environment for learning, and the community. So click on that when you're finished here, and you can sort of take a look at it in more detail.
Thanks so, Mike. And these resources we try to make available in as many ways as possible so that our faculty can really create great environments for our learners. So it's always great to talk to you, Mike. Let's everybody put all of our energy into making it a great semester. Your students are counting on you to create great environments for learning. So stay tuned for our next episode of XChange.
Bye-bye, everybody, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.